Here we are in Cambridge, about to do Tech Tent live from the Centre for, what's it called, Jason?
Centre for Computing History.
And what are you?
I'm the director.
He's the director of the Centre for Computing History. Who are you?
I'm Dave. I'm a BBC journalist.
It's Dave Lee. That's Dave Lee. He says I should know by now. That's Dave Lee. And who are you?
I'm Phil Cox from Silicon Valley Bank.
So we've got a fabulous lineup here, a lot of guests. Over there, you probably can't quite see them. Oh, I don't know, nicely silhouetted. On the left is Henry, who is the studio manager. He's got a lot of kit to make sure we go live properly. And that guy, I don't know what he's doing, but he's reaching for something or other. That guy's Jat Gill. He's actually the editor of Tech Tent, one of the most important jobs in broadcasting. So this is a bit of an experiment. I won't be able, I'm afraid, to answer your questions during the show because, to be frank, I'll be presenting the show. But I've got a nice man here. What's your name, sir? Adrian is going to be holding this camera once we get going. And just briefly, Jason, we're going to talk about the centre a little bit during the programme, but how long has it been going?
We've been open now for about a year and a half. So.
And what have you got that's really exciting?
Oh, there's all sorts of things, going way back in time to 1966 and the minivac, through to the modern day Xbox One and everything in between.
You just have to point it at us, Adrian, in an interesting way for the next half hour. Hello and welcome to Tech Tent, your weekly status update on the technology business. I'm Rory Cellan-Jones, and this week we're live from the UK's Centre for Computing History in Cambridge, a university city steeped in the history of computing, from computer scientist and cryptanalyst Alan Turing to the world's first webcam, and more recently to the tiny computer, the Raspberry Pi.
So get to the round bit by about 43 or 43.30, something like that. I think you'll have about 2.5 minutes with Jason.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we've lost a generation of people that understand what computers are, you know, the fundamental level. And although that is now starting to change and computing is now in the curriculum, what we're trying to do is get another generation to use about electronics and software and the gadgetry that computers are.
I should say, on the table in front of him, Jason has got a Raspberry Pi mini computer. This is an educational computer, and it's wired up to various things. What have you done here, Jason?
Yeah, so this is one of the workshops that we do with kids, and you know, back in the day, in the 80s, we had logo and we had the turtle. A lot of people will remember those kind of phrases. But today, we actually get them to build their own turtle using some cheap motors and a chassis and a little motor controller. And then when they write their code, they basically write a little language that is very much like logo.
We're seeing some code on the screen in front of us. This is wonderful. Really. Oh, and the little device is heading all around the table. It's heading at Dave Lee. It's heading at Phil across the table. Meanwhile, another story. A whole rash of new live video streaming apps have been launched over the past month. The latest is one from Twitter called Periscope. And believe it or not, you can actually, if you have that app, you can watch this program being streamed over Periscope. Right now I'm waving at the phone, which a nice gentleman is holding, demonstrating Periscope right now. Dave Lee, it's far from alone, isn't it? This is something of a hot new trend.
We were talking on the show recently about Meerkat, another live streaming app, and it's really getting to the time now where this type of broadcasting video is looking for the killer app that's going to become the front runner. It's interesting with Periscope in particular, that's backed by Twitter. If that can get the same hold that Twitter did way back in the day when that first started, it could be really, really interesting. But what it does bring up, and I know you hate this, Rory, is everyone filming in portrait mode.
Yes, vertical video, which is kind of anathema to anyone who's worked in television, where everything obviously is in landscape mode, 16:9. Well, once again, we're running out of time. Thanks to Jason Fitzpatrick here at the Cambridge Centre for Computing History, and thanks to Phil Cox from Silicon Valley Bank. Thanks also to Dave Lee and Jane Wakefield. You can read all their work at bbc.com/technology. And thanks to you for listening. A slight change in time for next week. We'll be on air live from 1500 GMT. Join us again next week.
Thank you, London. Hope that sounded alright.
So if you'd been looking, that was a bit of a tight out, and Jack Gill was waving at me to stop. Why? I don't know. We were enjoying ourselves, but yeah, I think we stopped right on time. Thank you, folks.
Thank you very much.
There's the tea.
Thank you, Roy.
Thanks for that. And that's the end of this special Periscope edition of Tech Tent. And now I'm going to turn this off.